Hey everyone, my name's Eric Richards and I'm going to be doing an audio test for you. I'm going to be testing the original mic that comes with the RODELink and also a mic that I bought for a replacement called the OLM-2 microphone. I'm going to be interchanging in between different recording devices. The first one I'm going to do is the DR100mkII by Tascam and also the 70D by Tascam, but I'm also going to plug into my Nikon D7100 just so you can hear the differences between them all and see if there's one that works better for the RODELink and maybe even other lavs than the others, or maybe there's no difference. I'm also going to be doing a frequency test, and what that is that I have a pitch from before 20 Hertz to after 20,000 Hertz, and we're just going to see where the mics are more sensitive at in those frequency ranges, and hopefully that gives you some good insight into what these microphones do. And right now I'm recording on an AKG Perception 220 straight into the Tascam DR100mkII just to give you, have your ears refreshed when we go into the actual lav tests. Alright, so now we are on the microphone that comes with the RODELink and we're plugged into the Tascam DR100. The preamp is on medium while the transmitter has the 10 plus boost on it. I have the receiver using the male-by-male 3.5mm jack plugged into the adapter that Rode has from the 3.5mm to XLR. The side dial is on about 6. I just want to point out that the connector on the RODELink microphone is really bad. I've been having a lot of issues with it, and that's why I bought the OLM microphone. This is what sound I was getting because of the connector issue with the RODELink microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I don't want that to happen ever again. And so also when you try to screw it in, it would actually start to push the jack more out rather than actually locking onto the transmitter itself. So just a heads up on that. The receiver is now plugged into line 2. I had to push the dial all the way up to 10 in order to get a really good signal, but this is what this sounds like if you're curious. So now I am on the OLM-2 microphone and we're still plugged into the DR100mkII, but I did have to push the side dial up to 7. It's not as sensitive as the Rode, but that may not be a bad thing, and we'll see that in the frequency test later on. So the microphone on this one is a little bit bigger than the Rode's, which may or may not be an issue depending on what you are doing, but if you have any accessories for the Rode or smaller microphone head, they sadly won't work. And also the stuff that comes with the Rode, like the little plush and the windscreen, they don't fit. So now we have the OLM-2 microphone receiver plugged into line 2 on the DR100mkII. And so this is what it sounds like. I did have to push it all the way up to 10 and it's still a little low. Let's see if I can see they're not as hot as the Rode microphone, but this is what this sounds like if you were curious. So right now I am on the microphone that comes with the RODELink plugged into the Tascam 70D. The preamp is on low and the dial is at about like 1 o'clock. So people like to compare these with the Sennheisers a lot of the time, and I have to say for these they're about $400 versus the Sennheiser, which are $630 about. These do rack up pretty well compared to those Sennheisers, especially if, so like this microphone I'm using the Rode right now, it's not the best of quality microphone, but if you replace it, it still will be cheaper than the Sennheisers. And yeah, and the transmitter and receivers, they work pretty well. So now the RODELink is actually plugged into the external channels 1 and 2 on the Tascam 70D, still on the RODELink, just to give you an idea what that sounds like. I am in a different garb because I found out the audio just vanished from existence. So I don't know where it went, so I had to re-record it. And so, yes, the preamps are at medium and the dial is at about 430 or something like that. So you need to push it a little bit more to get good sound. So I would suggest not going this way, but this is what it sounds like. So now we're using the OLM-2 microphone plugged into the 70D. I'm having the plus 10 decibel boost with the transmitter. All of the tests are having a plus 10 boost, just so that I can have the preamps in the recorder be as low as possible. The preamps in the 70D are at low, and the dial is about 2 o'clock since the microphone isn't as hot as the Rode one. So the cable that comes with the OLM-2 is very long. It's 5.3 feet, which is 1.6 meters, and I don't know why, but what I do know is that you can get a power connection that connects to the end right here, and I assume maybe you can plug it into somewhere, and this gives you a little extra reach to like maybe your camera or something. I don't really know. Compared to the Rode microphone, it's about 2 feet. It's about a torso's length. So that's something that's a little odd, but the microphone cable quality itself is very nice. It's thick and doesn't feel like it's gonna get all bent up and squished. So at least there's a plus with that. So now I have the OLM-2 receiver plugged into the external 1-2 channel on the 70D. Just to give you an idea what this sounds like, I did have to put it up to medium with the preamps, and I have the dial like cranked up all the way to 5 o'clock, I believe, so it's pretty high up there. So there's not a lot of juice with this. I would suggest getting the adapter so that you can plug it into the XLR sides, but that's up to you if you want to do that. So right now I am using the Rode microphone, and I plugged the receiver straight into my Nikon D7100. I had to put the audio all the way down to 6. As you can tell, probably there's some hissing in the background. I would just advise not doing it this way. I would advise going to an external recorder just to get some of that hiss out, especially if you're doing a paid gig. You want to get them the best audio that they can get. So that's what I suggest. So now we're using the OLM-2 plugged straight into the Nikon D7100. The preamps are still at 6, and this is what it sounds like. Even though this is what the RODELinks were made for DSLRs, and I don't know, I wouldn't advise doing something like that, even if that was their intent. I would still want to record it on a separate recorder and get the best audio quality that you can. Now we're going to do the frequency test. And just so you know, I am recording with the uni mics on the Tascam DR100mkII. I have it in stereo, so if I move around, this is what it sounds like. As we can see, the OLM-2 microphone is more receptive to bass frequencies. But afterwards, the Rode microphone is far more sensitive to other frequencies. I wouldn't suggest that this is a good thing, because that means the Rode is sensitive to harmonious spikes. If something hits the same frequency, it will resonate and cause a strange interference that you may have to bump down in post in EQ. Hopefully this gives you a good idea between the two microphones, and you can use it to your advantage. Well, that concludes our audio test. I really hope it was beneficial for you guys. I'm back at the AKG Perception 220 plugged into the Tascam 70D. The preamp is on medium, while the dial is around 930-ish. And I do have to say that the 70D seemed to work better for the RODELink. It seemed like I had to push the 100 Mark II a little bit more, and which would be susceptible to more audio or floor noise and just that hissing from the preamps. If you're looking for a recorder for your RODELink, I suggest the 70D. I haven't tested anything else, but so far that one works pretty well. And I want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up if you end up buying the OLM-2 microphone for Sennheiser. You'll need the Sennheiser version to work with the RODELink. I had a little bit of a confusion when I realized that the end piece for my OLM-2 resembled very closely to the Sony version that's on B&H. I contacted B&H and Sennheiser, I don't know how to pronounce the business name, but they both assured me that the gold tip versus the silver tip doesn't matter. But I was trying to ask, why is the whole entire end piece resembling the Sony version versus the actual Sennheiser version, and they never really responded to that. So my issue is that the Sony version is $40 cheaper, and I'm just wondering, well, I mean, I don't want to like call anyone a liar, but it is a little odd that they couldn't quite answer the whole piece rather than just the 3.5mm jack. They assured me that it is the Sennheiser version, and if it wasn't, it wouldn't work with my RODELink. So all I can say is it doesn't look at all like the Sennheiser version, but if you say it is, and if you say that it doesn't, I don't have like, I don't have a Sony UP or UWP, I think it was called, transmitter, so I can't test it beyond just taking their word for it. So I just want to give that to you guys, just in case you end up having the same question. And just so you know, I'm recording on the Nikon D7100 plugged into the Atmos Ninja 2. I'm using an Angelbird AV Pro 250 SSD card to record on. And the lens I'm using is a 50mm 1.8G. So if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, please give it a thumbs down. If you have any constructive criticism, please give me some comments. I would love to hear it. If you have any questions, I'll try to get back to you. And please like the Facebook page in the description below. And I will see you in the next video.